Hello, entrepreneurs, business owners, YouTubers, everybody that's watching. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Ali Obaid, and I want to introduce to you guys an internet genius, Mr. Frank Kern. He was able to make literally 100. Wait a minute, let me get my numbers right. He made roughly $1 million an hour. I think he made like $38 million or $24 million in 24 hours, which is pretty incredible. I don't know the exact number, but it's gonna the speaker here is gonna introduce him, and he usually doesn't speak very often, and he just happened to do this on stage. I believe this was done way back in 1999, like when the digital marketing, the entrepreneur world was just or the online business was just starting out. Anyway, my name is Ali Obaid, and I promote an online education platform that helps you to start your online business. And this is related topic to what what we're discussing here. So any of you guys digital marketers or entrepreneurs or online business owners, you're gonna find this absolutely fascinating. And I have a lot of respect for Frank, and he is definitely incredible. And not because he made $1 million an hour. I mean, that's an incredible achievement by itself, but just the ability for him to achieve that kind of success way early in the game, which is pretty incredible. Let's watch what's going on here. I might pause it here and there just to comment, because there's a few things I like to point out in the video that I find very, very interesting. Alright, so here we go. Enjoy, guys. This is an incredible video. It's very inspiring. Frank is a wonderful person too. You guys are going to fall in love with his personality.
Stay standing. Now, our next speaker is a guy that many of you, I think, or some of you got the chance to be able to spend yesterday and the day before with him. I just got to see a little bit of what he did, but I was blown away because it was really cool stuff. And as I think Rich or someone else said earlier, he really is a great speaker. He's kind of laid back. I mean, you see him and, he's dressed casual, but he's funny, he's witty, and you can tell he really knows his stuff. And I'm saying that not just by watching him speak. It's based on his results. He did mass control, which many of you are familiar with, did 23.8 million in a 24-hour period. And he just informed me, he didn't get to keep all of it, but he said he got to keep some of it, right? So pretty impressive. And now he's going to share with you some ideas. And he doesn't speak very often. He says, I don't do this. Other than his own events that are few and far between, he doesn't show up for these types of events. So this is pretty special. Give him a special, warm welcome. Please welcome to the stage, Frank Kern. Let him hear it. Come on.
All right. It's good to see everybody. Pretty bright lights we got going on here. I hope I don't have some sort of a flashback or something as a result of them. Did you guys get a chance to see the Oscars last night? No? I guess hypothetically speaking, possibly a few people might have been partying in the bar or something. Happens. I was over at Reese's house last night and we watched the Oscars. It was a very nice, quiet, romantic evening, John, Reese, and I, bonding. As men do while we watch actors cry and gush on stage. Well, I got to thinking what a nice community they have, the Hollywood community. When you strip away all the tabloids and stuff, basically the Oscars was a reflection of, there was this closely knit group of people who all worked together in an industry and celebrated each other's accomplishments, rooted for one another, and mourned when they lost some of their own. And I got to thinking that our community is a lot like that community, with the exception that theirs is obviously less attractive, which is... Yeah, but they try, with the makeup and the stylists and everything. They're almost as glamorous as us, but not quite. And I got to think how nice it is to be part of this community. You get to see, you get to come to events like this, and you get to meet new people, and sometimes those friendships can turn to lifelong friendships, and sometimes they can turn to very profitable businesses. I joined this community in 2001 and have made some of the longest and most endearing friendships I've ever had here. And it's a good group of people, and I'm happy to be here. So, let's see here. I've got my notes. I'm going to pretend like I'm not looking at them. Everyone raise your hands, please. Come on. I'm not going to make you throw your hands in the Aya or anything. All right. I became part of this community as a result of buying Corey Rudl's marketing tips thingy, right? Years ago, I think that was in 1999. I know it was, actually, October of 1999. So I believe that most people, you're probably like, dude, shut up. I think that most people probably are here within this community, and not necessarily here today, but just specifically part of this group we have, this family, really, because they bought something, an ebook or a course. So if that is you, keep your hand in the air. Okay, cool. Now, when I bought Corey's thing, a little voice inside my head was like, this is probably bullshit, it's not going to work. I had to suspend disbelief, right? How many of you, when you bought the thingy, whatever it was, had that little voice saying, this is probably bullshit, it's not going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway? Keep your hands up. Pretty sure that's everybody, most people. Wow. Okay, you can put your hands down. Tony Robbins says, I think, he does now, he often says, Frank Kern is a wonderful man and you should buy his shit. They don't publish that very often, but he says it a lot. He says in your, what the hell is it? It's in your moments of a decision that your destiny is shaped, or something like that, right? So could you imagine what it would be like if you didn't have that little decision, and at one point, when you first bought that little thing, if you didn't have that moment of decision to say, fuck it, I'll try it anyway. I like to think about stuff a lot. I'm a little bit of a strange person. And as I was watching the Oscars last night, way to go Coen Brothers, by the way, I was thinking about that particular moment of decision when I said, what the hell, maybe it'll work. I suspended my disbelief, right, which I learned from my friend and teacher John Carlton, that phrase. And I started to think about the evolution of this community and where we've gone and what we've been through since so many of us first came in and formed this community, because we're a new family pretty much, right? I mean, this whole stuff hasn't even been going on that long. I think the first big seminar was in 2002 or 2003. So it's easy to overlook the significance of one simple little moment. But Robin's statement is true, and I want to prove it to you, and I want to prove it to you in the context of this community. All right? And I'm going to give this little timeline, this little history lesson. It won't be boring, though, because I use profanity and tell jokes. I'm going to give you this in the context of from my point of view. So it's possible that a few dates might be wrong or whatever, but the overall picture is what matters. All right? My name is Frank, so we'll start with me. In 1995, I was very good at running businesses into the ground, had a little dog fence business. I could still do it. I'm not as good as I was. I could, if I wanted to, I could do it. Had a little dog fence business, saw an ad in a business opportunity magazine for a Jeff Paul course, suspended the disbelief, said maybe it'll work, bought the course, right? I valiantly, it was supposed to be an arrow, I valiantly did nothing, which I'm very good at, really, an expert. I don't mean to brag, but I am. Years later, because I'm a Tony Robbins student, I get this letter in the mail from Tony Robbins endorsing J. Abraham. All right? The book was $300-something for a book. It didn't even have pictures in it, much less pornographic pictures. Suspended the disbelief, took a leap of faith, really, because I think that's what we all do when we suspend our disbelief. Bought the book. Okay? Became reacquainted and reinterested in internet marketing, which probably put a little seed in my mind to be a little bit more receptive when I saw the ad for Corey Rudl stuff, right? All right, study Corey Rudl. Things are going okay. No reflection of Corey's teachings, obviously. He was a tremendous, very significant person in our industry, and I think we owe a lot to him, so thank you, Corey. Anyway, got turned on to Yannick Silver, who I learned the idea of selling ebooks from, right? Everybody knows Yannick. He's a friend of ours. He's part of this community. Takes me to Yannick Silver. Which leads me, this is not Yannick's fault, leads me personally, well actually yes it is, let's blame him, leads me to create a product called Instant Internet Empires. Anybody remember that? Show of hands. All right, my record's almost clean, this is great. Probably not my finest work. All right, well what happened is Instant Internet Empires was a collection of little books with reprint rights and stuff. It threw me immediately, it's one of those lucky break kind of things, throws me immediately into the guru world. Like I was just a dude trying to make some money out of my laundry room in Black Mountain, North Carolina. I create this product that sells like crazy. Next thing you know, everyone's like, Frank Kern's a marketing guru. I'm like, well, that's right, yes I am. You're damn right, don't you forget it. All right, so that bammo, now I'm in this community, like in the spotlight. I ended up getting into the spotlight a little bit more than I wanted to, and was sued by the delightful good old boys at the Federal Trade Commission Brothers Band. You might have heard of them, they're awesome. Okay? Not as much fun as lots of people would imagine. Okay? Remember this, empires. Now the whole point of showing you this is not to talk about my personal history. It's to emphasize what one moment of decision can mean to a community and possibly to the world. Nothing to do with me personally, forget me. Pretend I'm anyone you want to. It's not about me, as you'll soon see. All right, now right around that same time, right before I got sued by the feds, I go to the first big seminar. We'll just call that Big S. Anyone else there? The very first one in Dallas? Yeah, show of hands, who was there? Not a lot of folks? All right, cool. Old schoolers. I'll tell you who was there that I became friends with after never having heard of them in my life. A couple of guys. One goes by the name of Jeff Walker. The other one, John Reese. Didn't know either one of them. Pretty cool guys. All right? Interesting. It will be, anyway. So we're hanging out at the big seminar in our own little world.
I want to pause this for a second, and I'm a huge fan of John Reese, and I haven't been able to find anything online with him. I don't know, he's like in a hiatus. Maybe he's taking a little time off, or maybe he's vacationing somewhere and he's just, he just wants to be left alone. If any of you guys know anything about John Reese, leave it in the comment. I'll be very interested to know, because he's another entrepreneur that I admire very much, because he's so knowledgeable. He's the guy that made $1 million in one day, and he teaches traffic secrets. So he's really versed in digital world, digital marketing. All right, let's go back to, enough me talking. Let's go back to Frank.
And Jeff says something about making 6 figures in 7 days. Wow, says John Reese. Impossible, says I. Not impossible, says JW. Jeff, can I ask you a question? Did it require any leap of faith on your part to attempt to make the 6 figures in 7 days? No. All right. You just knew it was going to work. There's no shadow of a doubt.
I had no idea what it would be. I knew it would be successful. The first time I did a launch, it was a huge leap of faith. I was shocked when someone bought something for me.
Okay. So you failed the first time? Is that what you said? I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't fail, but I thought I was going to fail. Mm-hmm. And they heard the story an hour or two ago. It was $1,600, and I was shocked.
So after making $1,600,
Frank, if you want to give me specific answers, you got to lead me a little better.
Thank you. All right. Here's what I'm going for. Did you think that you were going to make $100,000 in 7 days? All right,
no.
Thank you. Jesus. I'm not telling you to agree with me, but if you were going to agree with me, what would your answer be? All right. I'm going to throw off my whole game. I'm up here trying to look like I know what I'm doing.
That's what I'm here for, Frank.
All right. So Jeff does 6 and 7. Nobody thought that was possible in our industry, right? It was ridiculous. Like, if you've been around that long, and by our little community, I mean, it's internet marketing folks, right? I mean, to someone like Jay Abraham or something, like, yeah, so what, But to all of us, like, other non-old school, super heavy-duty people, it was unbelievable. That inspires John Reese to maybe try to do something. But at that point, John Reese was not the John Reese that we know. He was not teaching internet marketing, all right? So John Reese, Jeff Walker, and I become friends. John Reese decides that he does not want to teach internet marketing, despite the fact that everyone in the community is demanding him to teach internet marketing. I convinced John to take a leap of faith and to do his workshop, which later became Traffic Secrets. Okay? Now, the workshop is wildly successful, right? I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was a huge deal. First of all, it was like $3,500, which was at that time like $1 billion for our little world. And he was freaked out about doing it. It becomes this huge success. That positions him as this great marketer to be paid attention to. He turns it into Traffic Secrets. John decides to take a leap of faith and test out this whole launch thing and see if he can't take it to a new level. What happens? What happened? What do you know? John does the $1 million day. Because we see John do the $1 million day, our entire thinking changes, our entire industry takes on a whole new mindset. So now lots of folks are saying, well, good Lord, if he could do it, maybe I can too. So, after that, I think Jeff was probably like, Maybe I'll teach this product launch stuff. Jeff Walker creates product launch formula, and a whole slew, which is a real word, of wildly successful launches happen. Let's see, Stomper, Butterfly Marketing. No need to actually read that. I did the Annihilation thing for Neil. Look at my notes here. Rich did his very first coaching launch, which was extremely successful. All this stuff is happening because little leaps of faith, little decisions were made, right? The little voice in the back of the head was ignored. Pretty cool. Okay. Instant Internet Empires, FTC. I'm hosed, right? I have to go to the internet community and go, guys, I'm a little bit of a degenerate criminal. Sorry. They made me say it. I don't really think I am. Not on weekdays anyway. That leads me to create a little product called the Underachiever Method. All right, which is all about niche marketing. I took a little bit of a leap of faith to try to do some of this product launch stuff, which I was learning from Jeff before he'd released his course. Launched that, $1 million launch. Awesome. Okay, good for me, yay, zippity-doo-dah. Okay. You remember when we were talking about you join this community usually by buying something and taking a little leap of faith? One person bought this Instant Internet Empires product by taking a little leap of faith. His name is Mike Filsaime. This is in no way to say I started Mike Filsaime. I was just his gateway drug, so to speak. All right? Who, of course, later went on to create Butterfly Marketing and Seven-Figure Code and this gigantic, sprawling empire of down-home country goodness that he has created. Think of what we've accomplished as a community since what I will internally refer to as our inception. Probably might be historically wrong, but that very first big seminar, it was for me, so this is all from my perspective. We went from a little ragtag band of 100 or so people in a seminar room and thinking that our little in-house lists of 10,000 people was a big deal, and we're all selling little $47 ebooks and everything. That's in 2003, it's now 2008. $1 million days are commonplace. Multi-million-dollar product launches are commonplace. Huge responsive lists are commonplace. Our community has grown from...
You see, you guys, I want to point something out. When Frank Kern was involved in, when he, the dates that he's talking about, they're about 20 years old, basically. And like he just said, for someone to make a $1 million a day now, that's a very commonplace. So one thing I want you to do, one thing I want to point out here, I want you guys to pay attention to that what was sort of impossible back then or unheard of, it's possible and everybody hears about it. It's very common. So I just want to let you know, digital marketing, affiliate marketing, online business, this is something that's flourishing, and I want you guys to pay attention to that. It's very, very important. And I'm going to have an offer for you guys at the end of this video, and that will help you start your business. But here we go. Let's listen to Frank some more.
This little ragtag group of semi-outlaw-like kids, essentially, in our basements, trying to crank out a living, to this giant multinational community. We're so much more than just who we are now in this room. Like if you were to try to encompass the entire internet marketing community, it's literally millions of people, just if you combine like Rich's and Filsaime's mailing lists alone. It's millions of people. So we've come a long way. Think of the people that we as a community influence, hopefully for the better, right? Collectively, how many millions of people do you think just us in this room touch every day?
Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting. I don't mean to interrupt this video. But one thing I want to mention, that like what Frank said right now, this is a very key point. The influence that us entrepreneurs have on the community is a positive, it's a positive impact, and it does make, we're influencing people for the better. That I truly believe in that, and the thing that I'm like very passionate about, I know 9 to 5, people are starting to realize that 9 to 5 job is not secure anymore, and it's time you refine your living and realize that all the saving that you get, you're having your 401k and all that, it's basically you're going to be living pennies on the dollars. The old school way doesn't work anymore. Luckily, we are having a change in conscious in our culture, and starting to question the guaranteed pay income. Let's listen some more, Frank.
With our communications and our influence. What do you think it is? I don't know. 15 million people is a conservative guess to me. And then those people might buy your stuff, and then what could very well happen? They might go on to influence others. So, as a member of this community, I honestly feel that I am part of something much greater than myself. And the reason that I made this timeline for you, if you could call it that, this is actually, if you were to hold this up to a science book, it would be a molecular diagram of alcohol. But it would match perfectly. There's your sugar right there. If at anywhere during this whole thing, that one moment where we paid attention and suspended, as John Carlton says, and suspended that disbelief, none of this would have happened. We would not be here right now. This whole circumstance would be different if at any time somebody listened to that voice, that this probably isn't going to work voice.
You guys need to suspend the disbelief. Start believing that this works, and it will work. Just believe it, guys. It does work.
So I, for one, pretty damn glad I suspended my moment of disbelief. Okay, stand up, please. So quiet in here, it's kind of freaking me out, yeah? It's like, okay, look the other way as I haul ass. All right. Remain standing if you will, just for today, suspend your disbelief and just try something. Doesn't cost you anything. Everybody? Cool. All right, that's it. That's all I wanted. It's more impactful than a show of hands, I think, to see everyone standing. Okay, we got that out of the way. I actually have a real presentation for you. I just wanted to preface it all with this thing, because I think this is all very heavy-duty stuff. We can switch to my big fancy PowerPoint presentation now. Video people. What? Okay. I'm not going to talk to you about mass control today. I'm going to talk to you about something that could possibly be a greater force than mass control, and it is something that mass control is built on, I guess. And it's called core influence. And the big fancy title here is how to make lots of people do almost anything, but in a cool way. I don't really like the word make there. That's why I had to throw in a cool way. So, I'm sure you're all very good people. I'm very proud to be part of this group. But if you would, please just promise me that you will never, ever in your life use the stuff that I'm going to show you now or ever in the future for bad juju. Cool? Is that cool? Okay. If you do and I find out, I will find you and I will persuade you to tattoo the word penis on your forehead. I can do this. I have that power. I learned it from Robbins. He says it all the time that he taught me that. Not really. Okay, today you will change your life. Pretty big claim there. Let me give you some disclaimers. Learn that from the feds. They could have just told me that to start with, you know. They could have just been like, dude, we were just thinking you might want to give some disclaimers. Anyway, disclaimer number one. I am not a psychologist. I have not studied psychology. I have no idea what I'm talking about, really, and should never be listened to for any reason, under any circumstance. Okay? So there's that. Disclaimer number two is that I'm not here to sell you anything. All right? Like, I officially forbid you to buy any. I don't have anything to sell at all anyway. I already sold out on my mass control stuff. It's the only marketing product I got. So no one can buy anything from me. Do you promise not to even attempt to buy anything from me today? Would you please humor me and say that you will promise to not to attempt? Okay. I'm in a little bit of a dangerous position, really, because I'm known as this mass control guy, and I think the perception is you never know what the real angle is with me. You know, like some folks might be saying, oh, he's just trying to reverse psychology us and, you know, make us want to buy stuff from him more, which is not the case. Like, I have nothing to sell you. Do not give me money, please. Fine, please give me money. The reason I'm so adamant about this is because we're going to do an experiment later. It's another one where you get to stand. And I don't want you to think that the experiment is some sort of sneaky sales thing, because it's not. I just want to see if this stuff, I just want to see the results of the experiment. So keep that in mind. Seriously, all joking aside, I'm not here to pitch anything. I think Rich would get mad anyway. And the final disclaimer is this is a major departure for me, what I'm going to show you. And this is a bit of a weird presentation, weirder than normal, in fact. Or weirder than most. I guess weirder than normal is kind of a stupid thing to say. Weirder than most presentations. It is a 3-part presentation, beginning with a nice, refreshing appetizer of weird, heavy-duty psychological stuff. That it's possible that when you see me talk about this, you'll be like, damn, this is heavy. You know, it is heavy, all right? Not unpleasantly, depressingly heavy, but like raw kind of heavy stuff, okay? And then, after our super heavy stuff, we will get into something which is dangerously close to New Age self-help stuff. So please know that I'm not a motivational speaker or anything. That's not my role here. And for the love of God, people, I've created a product called the Underachiever Method, for Christ's sake. So that's not what that's about. But we get into that for a minute. And then finally, at the end, is our dessert. We have a nice, warm batch of how to turn all this stuff into money. Cool? All right. Awesome. Hooray. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in the flow? Like where everything just seems to work out right, where everything's just cool, you talk to people, you're connecting with them, there's like, you have this effortless communication, everything you do throughout the day is pretty easy, and at the end of the day, you're like, damn, that was awesome, I wish I could be like that all the time. If you've ever had that experience, please raise your hand. Cool, all right. On the flip side of that, have you ever, I guess I'll use this, have you ever like seen a sales presentation, maybe at a seminar or something, or a business opportunity presentation, where the person said all the right things, and did everything perfectly, you know, dressed like you're supposed to dress, said like you're supposed to talk and stuff, smiled and all that stuff, but still, for some reason, you were just kind of like, yeah, raise your hand. Yes? Okay. So I want to make sure I'm not the only one. And now we will begin. Wow. Did that work? Okay. So, this whole core influence thing, literally, I believe, will give you the ability to get people to do just about anything you want them to do, and there are 2 easy steps. Step 1 is to know what you really want and who you really are. I will submit to you now and repeatedly that the answer to those questions that we hold in our heads right now are false. Step 2 is to know what your market really wants and who they really are. All right, so that's it. Thank you. Yes. Good movie that was. So we'll begin the heavy-duty, weird psychological stuff. I believe that most people carry around with them 2 versions of themselves, all right? The first version is the identity that they walk around in every day. I call it the shell identity. So, for example, the dude who's a banker who's walking around saying, I'm Bob, I'm a banker. I originate loans and stuff. I do banking things. Whatever they may be, I do them, seriously. All right? It's a shell identity. It's who you think you are. So, if anyone ever says, who the hell do you think you are? You can say, I'm the shell identity. The second identity is the person that they really want to be, and that is the identity that people really want. So when Bob's at the bank having the conversation with the teller, Mrs. Jenkins, did you organize the deposit slips and do other banking stuff? Yes, Bob, I certainly did. It was fabulous. And during that whole thing, he's daydreaming about living at the beach or being a rock star or a drug cartel or whatever it may be. That's the identity that he really wants, right? And I believe that that inner identity is our true identity. And I believe this is true for everybody. That person that we daydream about, that life we daydream about, we really want to be that person. That's our deepest core desire. Therefore, I call this the core identity, and I believe this to be everyone's true identity. So I guess to really illustrate it, talking about Bob at the bank, doing bank stuff, do you think that Bob at the bank, when he was a little kid, envisioned himself being a banker, going to the bank every day? Do you think he thought that would be awesome, or like he wanted to fly planes or something? Which one? Yeah, fly planes. Okay, so Bob really wants to be, and therefore I think, at the risk of sounding all hokey and everything, fuck it, I'll just sound hokey, I think that's the real Bob. I think the rock star or the baseball player, that's who Bob really is. He's just trapped in this banker thing because of social conditioning, largely as a result of guys like me who make ads. Sorry, Bob. So, I believe everyone's core identity is held captive by circumstance and a lack of knowledge. I'll explain circumstance easier because that's the easiest one, or I'll explain circumstance first because that's the easiest one to explain. Bob wants to be a multi-millionaire playboy living in Monte Carlo. Circumstances might prevent that, such as Bob ain't got no money. Easy one, right? Lack of knowledge is the most insidious reason, and that is because I believe that we don't really know who our core identity is. Very few people ever sit around and think about that. Sit around and think about, well, I wish I had a car or a new house or whatever, but that's not really the stuff. It's not who we want to be, all right? Stay with me here. Don't make me ask you to jump up and shout and everything. So, core influence. It's the reason why I'm really good at this stuff, at selling lots of things to people I've never met.
Hey guys, I'm gonna stop right here. This is an incredible video. I don't know if you guys are really listening closely to what Frank's saying. He's dropping a lot of gold nuggets, and he's digging really deep on how digital marketing should be done. He tackles the core of the issue. Like, if you want to speak to your audience, you have to know who are you really speaking to. I'm gonna stop at this point. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Frank Kern is absolutely amazing. I respect the success that the level of success that he achieved, and I respect his knowledge, and I like how modest and humble and transparent he is. It's somebody I look up to, and hopefully one day I could attain that level of knowledge that he has attained. And I'm pretty sure this was, excuse me, I apologize. This was filmed perhaps 20 years ago, and he's a lot more smarter in his field. And one thing I do know, that he just joined forces with Grant Cardone, and Grant Cardone should consider himself very lucky to stumble upon a gem like Frank Kern. Frank Kern is definitely a diamond in the rough. He is unique at what he does, and he delivers, and he's clever and focused, and results speaks. You know, he has already achieved a very high level of success, so there's really nothing, he doesn't have to prove himself to anybody. Anyway, thanks guys for watching, and thanks for listening. I'm gonna put a couple options in the description if you guys want to start your entrepreneurial journey today. Don't delay. Do it today. You can do part-time. You can keep your 9-to-5 job and do this part-time, and as you start building this up, you can give up your 9-to-5 or keep 9-to-5 and start doing the online thing as part-time income. I mean, if it generates $2,000 to $3,000 a month for additional income, why not? That pays a house payment, car payment, perhaps a little bit of saving, pay for a good education for children, or whatever it is your heart desire. I don't know, maybe you want to travel, you want to donate to your favorite charity, whatever it is that makes you happy. Success is different from one person to another. I'm going to leave two options in the description. One is $100. Just to be specific, it's $97, and this is for people that are well versed in the computer or social media and online, just know their way around social